my turn. Audience, please stand and let us welcome the President's Party and the graduating class of 2000-2001. Could we also please ask you to turn off all pagers and cell phones? Thank you.
so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, see, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Audience may be seated. We would like to recognize and thank the Army National Guard for the flag ceremony. We would also like to thank Angie Call, who is a fine arts major, for singing the national anthem. Good morning. It is so great to see all of your faces here, see all of the graduates and all of the parents who are so supportive. My name is Gabriella Bradford. I am the new student body president for the upcoming year. I would like to congratulate all the students who are graduating this morning. This is a very exciting time for all of you and a great success. It is my pleasure to introduce to you our new college president, Dr. Lynn Cundiff. As the student leaders of the school, one of our first conversations with the new president, it was very apparent that President Cundiff had the students as his top priority and would work for their best interest. He is the ultimate visionary and a go-getter. He is so willing to work and do whatever it takes to implement his plans. He has researched and revised to create a plan for students that provide a way for each individual to be successful in their scholastic endeavors, career aspirations, and even in their own homes. It is refreshing to have a president and a first lady who place emphasis and value on spirituality, morals, and ethics. Both President Cundiff and his beautiful wife Glenda are compassionate and service-oriented. This couple works to have a balance in all areas of their lives. This is so important in a time when precious things are not such priorities. They set a standard of excellence for all of us to follow and inspire us to reach higher and to expand our horizon. It is my honor and my privilege to present to you today this remarkable man as our new president, Dr. Lynn Cundiff.
Thank you, Gabby. I didn't know who she was talking about for a while. And I understand that many of you would rather hear my wife speak than me anyway. I know. Today we celebrate the accomplishments of over 3,000 graduates We are very appreciative. This is a time-honored event that started literally thousands of years ago. It's steeped in tradition. And I would say to you today, while it's steeped in thousands of years of tradition, let's have some fun. Is that okay with everybody? All right. I've worked very hard on my opening remarks because I want them to be politically correct. And as most of you know, I am not politically correct all the time. So in an era when we're all required to be politically correct, I have put together carefully crafted, politically correct comments to the following friends and attendees. Graduates, distinguished platform guests, distinguished faculty, friends and family, political friends, political agents, sports agents, Larry Miller's agents, the commissioner's agents, agents of the court, Secret Service agents, French agents, class agents, people of class, people of color, colorful people, people of height, the vertically constrained, the horizontally enhanced, people of hair, people without hair, the optically challenged, the temporary sighted, the insightful, the out of sight, and the out-of-towners, the Eurocentrics, the Afrocentrics, the Afrocentrics with Eurail passes, the sexually disinclined, people of sex, sexy people, sexist pigs, animal companions, friends of the earth, friends of the president, my wife, friends of the commissioner, my wife and me, the homeboys, the homeless, the temporary housed at home, and God help us all, the permanently housed at home. We welcome you all to a great morning of graduation and to honoring our students. Thank you. It is indeed my privilege now to introduce to you our special platform guests. And as I introduce each one, I would ask that they would stand, and as you hold your applause, except for the commissioner, and then we will have made all the introductions. On the front row, beginning at my far right, Teresa Ramey, student speaker. Larry Miller, friend of the college. Please. Randall Mackey, chair, Board of the Trustees. Dr. Norman Riggs, vice chair, Board of Trustees. Bonnie Jean Beasley, award recipient. Dr. Cecilia H. Foxley, commissioner of higher education. Ellen Beatty, member of the Board of Trustees. Judge Andrew Valdez, award recipient. Angela Call, who just sang the national anthem. Carolyn Bird, who will sing for us as well. The second row, beginning at my far right, your left. Cameron Francis, Alumni Council President. Gabriella Bradford, 2001-2002 Student Body President. Jacob Packard, 2000-2001 Student Body President. Paul S. Rogers, member of the Board of Trustees. Maria Sweeten, member of the Board of Regents. Paul Rogers, a member of the Board of Regents as well. Charles Johnson, who I think is not with us yet, but may come in, who is chair of the Board of Regents. James Jardine, member, Board of the Regents. Pamela Atkinson, member, Board of the Regents. Peter Genero, member, Board of Trustees. Tom Forsgren, member, Board of Trustees. Mary Bangeter, member, Board of Trustees. And Brittany Lillenquist, who also will sing for us later today. The last row, beginning at my far right, Dr. Richard M. Rhodes, who's the Grand Marshal and Vice President for Business. Haggett, SLCC Foundation Board member, and a former award recipient from the college. Dr. Helen Cox, Interim Assistant to the President. Brent Goodfellow, who is Vice President of the Community, State, and National Affairs. Kim R. Birmingham, Utah State Board of Education. Dr. Marjorie Carson, Vice President of Academic Services. Shannon Terry Call, Student Service Learning Scholar Award recipient. Heather Muir, Student Service Learning Scholar Award recipient. And Christopher Perkins, Student Service Learning Scholar Award recipient. Dr. Daniel Bingham, Executive Dean of the Larry Miller Campus. Dr. John Angelwarden, Executive Dean of the Jordan Campus and School of Business and Industry. Elwood Zogg, Executive Dean, Vocational Education and School of Technology. And Dr. Dave Richardson, Executive Dean, the Redwood Campus and School of Humanities and Sciences. Dr. Jeffrey Bruger, Executive Dean of the South City Campus and the School of Continuing and Community Education. Paco Salazar, Skills Center Director. And last but not least, our friend Judd Morgan, Vice President of Student Services and Chair of our commencement activities, wherever he may be today. Judd is here. Okay. Judd is here. Okay. Thank you. Let me introduce to you now our musical number. Carolyn Bird is a student in General Studies, and she will sing for us One Moment in Time. And then following Carolyn, Jake Packard, who served this past year as Student Body President, will give his final remarks as Student Body President. Would you help me, please, in welcoming Carolyn Bird?
Dreams are
You're probably all wondering why I called this meeting today. But by 1940, the city of Paris had fallen to the German armies. Immediately, they enlisted Frenchmen to further their cause of termination of the Jews. Now, what they did is they set out a decree that by October 2nd of the same year, each person of Jewish descent needed to report to a German official so they could receive their identification card, which in essence was synonymous with the death certificate. Now, as you can imagine, this was a great undertaking, so they enlisted French civilians to help them do their dirty work. Now, as you can imagine, there were probably a number of Frenchmen that were sympathetic towards the German cause. But at the same time, there were those that were simply benefiting from those in power and finding a job. Susan Griffin's a historian. She stated that if a man be allowed to stray towards his true purpose, he would be content telling himself that he's simply filing papers, just as the men and the women that work to manufacture the trigger mechanisms of nuclear bombs are simply forging metal, not making weapons. You see, they were doing what they were told. They weren't breaking any rules. They were given a task and they were going through with it. What they weren't realizing is that each paper they processed represented a human life, and that each trigger they made took that life. You see how easy it is for us to walk through life with our eyes closed to the wake of destruction that lies behind us, simply because we tell ourselves, I'm only an accountant, I'm only a teacher, I'm only an attorney, and I'm only a doctor. You see, whether we choose to believe it or not, every single one of us will contribute to either the betterment or the demise of our society. Maya Angelou stated that if you look closely, my friends, you'll see that we are more alike than we are different. And if this rings true, then we are more connected than we are separate. In the words of John Donne, from his Devotions upon Emerging Occasions, he stated that no man is an island entire of itself. Every man is part of the continent, part of the whole. For if a clod is washed away to the sea, Europe is the less, as if promontory were, or as if a manor of thy friend's house or of thine own. For every man's death affects me, because I am involved in mankind. Therefore never send to know for whom the bell tolls, for it tolls for thee. You see, there's a greater good, a collective purpose that gives meaning to the mundane details of our lives and breathes life into our dying souls. And we must choose if we are going to simply file papers and construct triggers, or if we are going to actually open our eyes to this greater purpose. You see, those of you that become doctors recognize there are millions of people in this world that can't afford your care, that are hurting just as badly as the millionaire on the hill. Those of you that become attorneys, back up your evidence with truth. Those of you that become politicians, prove your worth to the common man. Remember, in the words of my mother, remember who you are and where you came from. And remember that every single vote in your favor is nothing more than someone saying, I trust you. Those of you that become administrators of higher education, recognize that the sole purpose of your position is to strengthen the link that exists between teachers and students, and that nothing should be done if it not be for the good of the students. Teachers, realize that your influence is eternal, and that the minds of your constituency are pliable. In the words of Confucius, to cherish old knowledge as to continually search out new knowledge is to be fit to teach. Those of you going on to be accountants, remember there is no such thing as just a number. Those of you going into business, remember truth and ethics. Follow the words of the German philosopher Immanuel Kant when he stated, act as if the maxim of thy actions were to become a universal law of nature. Those of you going on to be parents, remember that if you were to judge every single occupation you have and you will ever have in this life according to the effect that it has on someone else, there is no single position that can even compare to being a parent. The potential of any child is limitless. Parent accordingly. You see, the meaning of life comes through service, and not a single one of us is above it or below it. Howard Arnold Walter once wrote, "I would be true, for there are those that trust me. I would be pure, for there are those that care. I would be strong, for there is much to suffer, and I would be brave, for there is much to dare. I would be a friend to the foe and the friendless. I would be giving and forget the gift. I would be humble, for I recognize my weakness. I will live, I will laugh, I will lift." On this day of our graduation, may our eyes be open to the greater purpose of this life. May we see those that stand in need. And most importantly, may we understand that the purpose of education is not simple job placement, but it is to teach us to see beyond ourselves.
Thank you, Jake. Well said. Each year, through the generous contributions of the Salt Lake Community College Foundation, a number of our faculty are honored for their teaching excellence. As one might expect, the selection of such a group is extremely difficult. Our graduates here today are the strongest evidence that there are many outstanding faculty at Salt Lake Community College. Nevertheless, through a process of nomination, committee evaluation of accomplishment, and recommendation to our college foundation, 6 full-time faculty members and 5 adjunct faculty members have been selected for this year's award. And while there is a monetary amount that goes with that award, the honor and the recognition, certainly by their peers and students in this institution, is equally valuable. So it is my extreme pleasure to recognize the following persons for their contributions to students and to the teaching profession, and more than that, to learning. They are the strength of this college. I would ask that each recipient would stand, and that once again you would hold your applause until we have announced everyone. The recipients are sitting over here. Full-time faculty member, Dr. John S. McCormick. Associate Professor, Social Sciences, School of Humanities and Sciences. Please remain standing, John, if you would. Annette Minor, Assistant Professor, American Sign Language Interpreting Program, School of Humanities and Sciences. Deanne Jensen, Associate Professor, Office Information Center at the Skills Centers. Diana Plager, Associate Professor, Physical Therapist, Assistant, School of Technology. Sherwood L. Davis, Professor, Engineering Drafting, Design Technology in the School of Technology. And Dean Huber, Associate Professor, English as a Second Language, School of Continuing and Community Education. The adjunct faculty who will join them: Lawana Merrill, Instructor of Mathematics, School of Humanities and Sciences. Kathy M. Bagley, Instructor of Barbering Cosmetology, School of Technology. Georgina Milne, Instructor of Math Basic Skills, ABE, at the Skills Center. Greg Hose, Instructor of Mathematics, Science, School of Humanities and Science. And Linda Archibald, Instructor of Marketing, School of Business and Industry. Would you honor all of these wonderful instructors, please? In addition, we are presenting 3 honorary doctorates today to 3 very deserving individuals. The first honorary doctorate will be presented to Bonnie Jean Beasley by Dr. Norman Riggs, who is the Vice Chair of our Board of Trustees.
In the absence of a larger recipient, our dynamite comes in a small package. Bonnie Jean Matheson Beasley successfully balances the competing demands of motherhood, public, personal service, business, and the fine arts. She is married to Brent Beasley and devotes the lion's share of her time and intelligence and energy and focus to the nurturing and development of their 7 children, ages 3 through 19. And in her spare time after that, she demonstrates a deep concern about education and has demonstrated it, and served as a trustee of the Salt Lake Community College for 7 years, including 5 years as its chair. During her tenure on the Board of Trustees, Bonnie was a strong and effective advocate for the role of the Salt Lake Community College within the Utah Unified System of Higher Education. She certainly impressed this presenter with the quality of her advocacy. Bonnie is also an accomplished violinist and currently serves on the board of the Utah Symphony. In addition to her service in various community organizations, she is co-founder, officer, and trustee of the Brent and Bonnie Jean Beasley Charitable Foundation. Mrs. Beasley started her professional career over 25 years ago, writing software for computers, and is now an officer and director of the Heritage Holding Corporation, parent of the Heritage Bank and several other corporations. It's not in my papers here, but she's also a University of Utah graduate. We both are. It's a signal honor for me to represent the Salt Lake Community College in awarding Bonnie Jean Beasley the honorary doctorate in humane letters.
I may never get it off. Vice Chair Riggs, thank you. Chairman Mackey, President Cundiff, trustees, Commissioner Foxley, regents, thank you very much. Graduates, we gather to celebrate you. Salt Lake Community College graduation ceremonies, whether here at this beautiful Redwood campus or at the state prison, are among my fondest memories as a trustee. I love to look into your faces and shake your hands. I know each one of you has a story to tell. Look at these leaders. Look at your faculty, your parents, families, and friends. In the ensuing years, you will take these seats. Your children will take yours. In fact, there will be a complete turnover in all institutions, large, small, personal, corporate, religious, government. Your generation will take ownership and leadership of all that prior generations have built. What kind of leaders, teachers, parents will you be? What about your children? How will they carry on? It is sobering to contemplate that each new child is born with a clean slate, knowing nothing. Think of all the knowledge there is in this world: medicine, technology, arts, science. Think about human qualities and values, integrity, responsibility, how to work and be successful, how to love and be loved. There is so much to learn. How will these precious children be taught? Will they learn from loving, skilled parents, or from a media culture that too often is debasing to our humanity, or from the street where violence and crime may prevail? Will they learn the lessons of history? You might have noticed in the news last week that there was vandalism in a Jewish cemetery in the Netherlands. Swastikas were painted on the gravestones. On the wall were painted the chilling words, "Wir sind zurück," we are back. In contrast to those who would hurt and destroy, consider what you have learned at Salt Lake Community College. Here you have been taught to build, to heal, to protect, to educate, to communicate. You have learned concepts and skills that will enrich your lives, strengthen your families, and build our community. Even now, while you have been continuing your studies, many of you have been working already and contributing to our society. Thank you. I urge you to take responsibility for all that will fall upon your shoulders. In particular, please focus on the nourishing and education of the next generation, whether you have children or not. Parenting and teaching are noble tasks which merit our best efforts. In my own experience, I have found that the challenges of parenting have required all the intelligence and hard work of any task I have ever undertaken in the professional or business world. In addition, parenting places greater demands personally in terms of love, patience, and good humor. We should not underestimate or underappreciate the importance and impact of shaping the next generation. Thank you again for the opportunity to share this day with you. Congratulations. Well done.
Our next honorary degree will be awarded to Mr. Carl Malone by Randall Mackey, Chair of our Board of Trustees. Larry Miller, a friend of the college and a personal friend of mine and all of ours, will accept for Carl Malone. Chair Mackey, please.
Carl Malone, otherwise known as the mailman because he delivers. It's unfortunate Carl can't be here today. Many of us would have liked him to be in San Antonio, but alas, that was not to come to pass this year. Renowned NBA basketball player for the Utah Jazz had made Utah his home with his wife and 4 children. Carl attended Louisiana Tech in Ruston, Louisiana, and left to enter the NBA after his junior year. Carl has been involved in various projects over the course of his career, but most recently he has dedicated most of his free time to the Carl Malone Foundation for Kids, a nonprofit organization that assists children in the Intermountain area. Let me just take a moment and tell you a little bit about the foundation. I had to talk to Lori Rupp, the executive director of the foundation, to find things that Carl would not share because of his modesty. Carl had been involved with a number of organizations in recent years, including Make-A-Wish Foundation, Adoption Exchange, Boys Club, Utah Justice Center. Wanting to be able to deliver services more to children, he formed the foundation over 4 years ago. Since then, he has helped directly 95 children and their families. The foundation focuses on children with poverty, life-threatening injuries and diseases, abandonment, disabled children. One of the first families was helped by the foundation was the Christensen family. There were 4 children with a rare form of muscular dystrophy that was not diagnosed until the age of 6. This family was about to lose their home, and Carl stepped in, realizing that a small donation would not help things, ended up stepping forward and paying off their mortgage. One thing that's unique about Carl is every time he provides services, donations, assistance to families, he always delivers himself. He will spend from 2 to 4 hours with each family and then makes certain to follow up thereafter. One very poignant story I heard was following the second game in the recent series with the Dallas Mavericks. After the national press was clamoring to talk to Carl, get statements from him on the game, there was a young lady there, 8 years of age, who came down from Wyoming, who was facing a very serious brain surgery that week. She came down with her younger brother, and Carl spent half hour after the game with her, telling her to be brave, how important it was that she survived that operation, which she did, and she credits afterwards her remarkable recovery to Carl Malone. These are just a few things that Carl and his foundation do for needy people. Carl is also involved in Kay's Bed and Breakfast, Wolfcrest, located near the state capitol. Carl has accomplished much in his NBA career, surpassing many records held by other famous players. He marked his 15th consecutive season, averaging over 20 points for the season, 20 points per game for the season, second only to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's NBA record of 17 consecutive seasons. Carl moved to second place on the NBA's all-time scoring list ahead of Wilt Chamberlain on December 5th, 2000. During his 16-year career, Carl scored his 32,000th career point during a game against Seattle on January 30th, 2001, and has now totaled 32,919 points. In December 2000, Carl passed Bob Pettit's 15th place rebound record and grabbed his 13,000th rebound of his career, now totaling 13,287 rebounds. Carl is currently third on the NBA's all-time list of field goals with 12,105 behind Wilt Chamberlain and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Carl has played in 1,200 games during his 16th-year career. He passed Del Ellis for 11th place all-time NBA history in games played, passed Paul Silas for 10th place, and moved into 9th ahead of John Havlicek. Malone began his 7th season on the NBA's all-time list in minutes played, but jumped ahead of Moses Malone, Robert Parrish, and John Havlicek to finish this season 4th on the all-time list with 47,503 minutes played. Carl was selected to play in the 2001 NBA All-Star Game for the 13th time, tying him for third on the NBA's all-time list for the most All-Star games played. It is with great pleasure that I present the Honorary Doctorate of Humane Letters to Carl Malone, and Larry Miller will be here to accept that for him.
Well, I'm not sure after what Randall said that there's a whole lot to say about Carl. As I was sitting here thinking about what I might say to you, there's a couple of things that I'd like to make sure that you understand. I'm wishing right now that each of you could know Carl like I know Carl. He, as Randall has pointed out, does a lot of things. His exploits on the basketball court are very visible, but he does a lot of things that that are not visible, that does good in the community, that helps individual lives, family lives, and I think overall the community in general. And for those of you who know him only by his basketball reputation, it would be kind of surprising to see the way he handles these other things, the sensitivity and so on, because it seems like Carl is an interesting study in contrast in that regard. He likes to do philanthropic things in a way where he looks at it, the less people that know, the fewer people that know, the better. There's been a number of times when I've been engaged in activities of that type with him. When I invited him into a situation, his first question often was, will the media be there? Will the press be there? And when I've said no, he said, good, then I'll do it. And it's just the way that he does things. I don't intend to try to make him out to be a saint, but it's it's to lend substance to what I said to you a couple of moments ago about wishing you could know Carl in his heart and in his mind the way I do. I wish Carl were here today. As I talked to him, I gave him 4 speeches over the last week about coming today. I will say to President Cundiff and Dr. Rhodes and others from the college and the Board of Trustees that I really do think Carl understands the significance of this doctorate degree that's being awarded him today, and I think he feels a spirit of gratitude about it. He's expressed that to me unsolicited, but if you understand a little bit about the man and not just the player, as I think I'm fortunate to do, he takes on such a responsibility or a feeling of responsibility and feels, as many of us do, I think any of us that count ourselves Jazz fans, really devastated from last Thursday's loss, which, by the way, I happen to think is probably the most difficult loss in the team's history in various ways. But Carl is really struggling with that still. It'll take him a while to regain his balance and find himself. But I really do feel like he'll look back on today at some point in the not distant future, wishing he had been here to receive this award himself. But please don't misconstrue that his not being here, that he takes it lightly or doesn't appreciate it, because I think he really does. He's just that sensitive. His sensitivity would surprise most of you. Anyway, with that, let me just say that it's interesting as I contemplate what we're here about today, which is certainly a celebration of the effort that all of you graduating have made and a culmination of that effort. We also, I think, are in celebration in doing this graduation ceremony. We're also in celebration of the free enterprise system that all of us enjoy. And going forward from this point, I think I can truly say to you graduates that I can relate to what you're going through today as you look ahead to the rest of your life and the future and where you go. In our own way, as a Jazz organization, in 2 or 3 weeks we'll sit down to contemplate our future and where we go. May all of the directions that each of us choose be fruitful and prosperous ones. Thank you.
Fruitful and prosperous indeed, Mr. in a number of ways. Our final honorary degree will be presented to Judge Andrew Valdez by Ellen Beatty, a member of our Board of Trustees. I have taken the liberty of asking Regent Pamela Atkinson to help bestow the hood on Judge Valdez after his comments, or after his introduction by Ellen Beatty. Ellen, please.
I actually have the privilege of awarding Judge Valdez with 2 honors today. The first is an honorary certificate from the Skills Center for his outstanding contributions to the lives of the adults that he has brought to the Skills Center through his work with the judicial system. Judge Valdez, we honor what you've done for the people and for the Skills Center. Judge Valdez is honored today for the impact he has had on the lives of young people in our community. Each week, dozens of children and their parents must appear before Judge Valdez in juvenile court to answer for their decisions and learn how their lives will change. Because Judge Valdez will hold each and every one accountable, adults and children alike. Judge Valdez cares deeply about the lives of young people in our community and knows that firm and consistent expectations are the only way to turn a life of making bad decisions into one of accomplishment and pride. Judge Valdez graduated from West High School. He received his baccalaureate degree in political science from the University of Utah and his Juris Doctorate degree from the University of Utah College of Law. He also served as a commissioned captain in the U.S. Army and practiced law in Central Europe. Judge Valdez was appointed to the 3rd District Juvenile Court in August 1993 by Governor Michael Leavitt. Since his appointment, Judge Valdez has developed a court-based mentoring program created to provide at-risk youth with a mentor recruited from the public and private sector. He developed a partnership with Granite Community Education to accept educational assessments and remediation classes in English, math, and technology to fulfill youth community service obligations. He's been an advocate for meaningful rehabilitation in secure facilities with job training, skills development, apprenticeship, and employment opportunities. Judge Valdez has also served on the Board of Trustees for Primary Children's Hospital and the Board of Juvenile Judges. He and his wife Joyce have raised 4 children here in the Salt Lake Valley. Judge Valdez's contributions to our community are immeasurable, as we will never know what might have happened if any of the youth offenders he has turned around had chosen the low road. One of continued crime and destruction of lives. Perhaps some in our audience or on the stage have been called to Judge Valdez's courtroom. I know I have been called there, and I was certainly glad that I was there to represent the school district. For Judge Valdez is a formidable presence in his courtroom. Parents and children are held equally responsible for the actions of the children. And when Judge Valdez demands, sit up in that chair and give me respect, everyone, including myself, did as we were instructed. I knew he meant business, and I was glad I had never been there as a parent of a child who was being held accountable. Judge Valdez touches lives beyond his courtroom as well. I recently had occasion to speak with a young man who was nearing the end of a 6-month residential treatment program. He was an attractive 18-year-old who had been gang involved since the age of 10 in LA, but was determined to leave his gang when he re-enters the community, although it will mean that he will need to go through some serious physical consequences. We talked about his plans for the future, and he shared that he wanted to be a lawyer because he knew what good lawyers could do for people. He thought that would be a dream, but even more than that, he wanted to be a judge. Not just any judge, but, quote, a judge like Judge Valdez. I asked if he knew Judge Valdez or had been in his courtroom. No, he replied, but Judge Valdez is a Latino too. He's like me. We've been the same places, and he had a hard life like me. And if he can become a judge, then so can I. Judge Valdez, thank you for changing the lives of so many in our community, for keeping parents and children accountable so that one day they too may appear here at Salt Lake Community College to receive a degree for hard work well done. We honor you for your dedication, heart, and belief that all young people can succeed. Congratulations. Well, we'll keep that there. We'll have to take this one off. Yes.
It's a short and sweet speech here. It's not even a speech, but Ms. Beatty took it, and so I needed to retrieve it. This position, I've been there before, not lately. When I was a boy, that was the position that we used to take when we were being interviewed by law enforcement, so brought back some memories. Thank you very much for sharing your world with me today. It's Wednesday, and I've had a difficult Monday and Tuesday. I've had a boy who's been killed, and I've had a mother who killed another child's father, and he's locked up. So it's been a very difficult 2 days, including approximately 60 hearings in the last 2 days. So my world is different than yours, but that's the world you'll be entering to someday. And it's a very rewarding world as well. We do have a lot of successes. It's been said that inspiration is an act of grace, a blessing. I've been graced by many decent and good people who've helped me and inspired me throughout my life. I sincerely hope that each one of you will be equally blessed, equally graced, and move toward your purpose in life. And your purpose in life, of course, is to take the mantle and become those good and decent people that have influenced and inspired so many of you, and certainly influenced and inspired me throughout my life. The leadership that's been displayed by the many people who have given me opportunities to lead me in a certain direction, those leadership positions will be replaced by yourselves. I don't take credit for accomplishments. As I indicated, I've been blessed with some very good and decent people who have helped me throughout my life. I feel as though I've received much more than I've given. I appreciate this honorary doctorate degree, and I certainly thank the Board of Trustees, the Board of Regents, all the important people sitting up here, members of the community and the faculty for giving me this high compliment today. I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Would you join me one more time in honoring all three of our honorary doctorate degrees today? Brittany Lillenquist, a general studies major, will now perform for us a musical number entitled I Believe I Can Fly. And she will be followed by our student speaker, Teresa Ramsey. Teresa is a general studies major graduating with a 4.0 GPA. Teresa's love of the outdoors brought her from California to Utah in 1984. She met her husband Greg while working at Snowbird Ski Resort. Where else? They will celebrate their 13th anniversary this July. She has two beautiful girls, Erica, who's 11, and Tara, 9. Prior to her full-time school status, she worked in various capacities for the Murray School District. She currently works for the Salt Lake Tribune and volunteers as a tutor in the I Can Read program at Longview Elementary. She is an active member of the PTA and has served on the board as treasurer. She and her family enjoy camping, hiking, biking, and swimming. Teresa has attended Salt Lake Community College for 3 years and will be attending Westminster College on an academic scholarship in the fall. Her future plans include getting her bachelor's degree in elementary education and a special education endorsement. She hopes to bring her love of education into the lives of many Utah children. You join me, please, in welcoming Brittany Lillenquist first, and then we will welcome, as soon as I find it, Teresa Ramsey. Thank you. Please join me in welcoming them.
I used to think that I could not go on, that life was nothing but an awful song. But now I know the meaning of true love. I'm leaning on its everlasting arms. If I can see it, then I can do it. If I just believe it, there's nothing to it. I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. I think about it every night and day. Spread my wings and fly away. I believe I can soar. You see me running through that open door. I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly. See, I was on the verge of breaking down. Sometimes silence can seem so loud. There are miracles in life I must achieve. But first I know it starts inside of me. If I can see it, then fly away. I believe I can soar. See me running through that open door. I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly. 'Cause I believe in me. If I can see it, then I can do it. If I just believe it, there's nothing to it. I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. I think about it every night and day. Spread my wings and fly away. I believe I can soar. See me running through that open door. I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly. If I just spread my wings, I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly. I can fly. I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly. If I just spread.
President Cundiff, honored guests, family and friends, faculty, staff, fellow graduates. It is an honor to be here today, sharing in the milestones that each of us has attained. We are fortunate to be in one of the most diverse colleges in the state of Utah, one that allows each student to find their own speed of learning. The traditional students who have learned at a fairly quick and straightforward route, and the non-traditional students whose road of learning have taken a few detours along the way, and whose speed may have taken a little bit longer at times. As I pondered our graduation theme, learning at the speed of life, I asked myself some questions. The first thought was, just how fast is the speed of life? In fact, it is so fast that my speech is over. Okay, just kidding. My astronomy professor astonished me last semester in saying that we are revolving around the sun at a mere 67,000 miles per hour. Now, while time may not seem to be moving that fast, it does seem to be speeding up as we get older. For instance, in elementary school, it would take forever for summer vacations to finally get here. Now the semesters seem to be flying by. This led me to another question. How can we measure the speed of learning? In mathematics, speed is simply the equation of distance over time. But in students' lives, speed is measured by how much learning we accomplish during the interim we are here. We may choose to cruise down the highway, gobbling up vast amounts of knowledge, or we may choose to take the slower road, consuming miles, but the information is just trickling in. David is an example of a student who took the direct route. Right after high school, he registered here at Salt Lake Community College with the goal of becoming an engineer. It was a difficult road to pursue. There were many late nights studying for mathematics and computer classes. He often thought how nice it would be to take a detour. But he pushed on, and today he is receiving his Associate of Science degree. Meeting this goal, he knows that he'll be able to receive his Bachelor of Science degree and that it's close in hand. Karen illustrates a different path. She is one of the many students that after high school took that narrow country road. It led her to a wonderful husband and 2 beautiful girls. However, she felt that life had been leading her. She was not leading life. That slow, moderate road was too slow, too narrow. She needed to grow, to learn, to lead her life. School was the answer, but she was afraid of failure, afraid to leave that comfort zone of family, paycheck, and close friends, afraid that too much time had passed by. She eventually took that first class and found a true love of learning, and today she is here with her Associates of Arts degree in hand. The third, and perhaps most important question is, can we measure the speed of learning by our inner road, by the rhythm of our own lives, instead of concerning ourselves with time and distance? French novelist Marcel Proust answers this question by suggesting the voyage of real discovery consists not of seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes. Our educational journeys have led us to an infinite, endless horizon of possibilities. We can examine the immenseness of outer space or the intricacies of the amoeba. Perhaps we learned that George Washington created the first almost round barn in 1749, or that a tree grows not from the inside out, but just inside the bark. As we take more classes, we see with our new eyes the connectedness of all aspects of knowledge. We have found that education allows us to be beyond the surface. We now look from several perspectives and see many layers and complexities of life. We have put a lot of facts into our heads, but much more important than the details we have learned is that we have found staying on the education road has been extremely rewarding. Along the way, we have established new friends, self-confidence, and a true love of learning. With our new eyes, everything seems so much clearer, focused, and alive. We now know that given the opportunity and the resources, we can accomplish just about anything we set our minds to. Perhaps the most important measure of progress is that learning is a lifelong process. I want to encourage all my fellow graduates that whether it be continued education, work, travel, family, or a combination of the above, that knowledge can be attained at every moment of the journey. It is up to you to find the perfect speed of learning for your life's pursuits.
Thank you, Teresa. And so now, we ask Dr. Marjorie Carson, Vice President of Academic Services, to present the graduates, and Randall Mackey, Board Chair, to accept the graduates.
Will the faculty, division chairs, and directors please stand? On behalf of your faculty and all of the others of us here and throughout this room and elsewhere in the college and the state who have had some small role in your preparation and thus your achievements for today, congratulations to you and those you hold dear. We are so proud of your accomplishments and what you've done. Graduates, please stand. Salt Lake Community College Board of Trustees Chair Randall Mackey. It is my honor as Vice President of Academic Services to present these graduates who have met the requirements of their respective degrees, diplomas, and certificates as recommended by the faculty, and they are now presented to you for the awarding of their appropriate honors.
Thank you. I'm reminded of the advice that Bob Hope gave to the graduates of Georgetown University in 1962 when speaking at the commencement. Quote, "I'd like to offer a couple of words of advice to you young people about to go out into the world. Don't go." I'm not going to offer that advice to you today. Instead, we want you to strive for excellence in your life. We want you to take pride in it to do the best you can in your jobs, your families, your communities. You'll find that the greatest joy and satisfaction will come from serving and helping others. You are a great generation. As chair of the Board of Trustees, and on behalf of the state of Utah, I congratulate and accept these graduates. Please be seated.
And now we come to the part that you all have been waiting for as students. Parents, family, and friends, we have the tradition at Salt Lake Community College that each student walk across the stage to be recognized. This year, our graduates will first have their picture taken, and then they'll proceed to the stage as their names are read. They will shake hands with the dean of the school, platform guests, and I invite platform guests to welcome our students. And then I will have the pleasure of awarding them diplomas. These wonderful students, many of whom I've got to meet personally, truly are our highest priority. At the end of the awarding of degrees, Cameron Francis, president of the SLCC Alumni Association, will then welcome the graduates. While the graduates are making their way forward, Vice President Morgan tells me we have a short video on the screen for you to watch. Please celebrate your graduate when they come across the stage.
Denise Weiss. This is the School of Humanities and Sciences.
Michael Kimball.
Amanda Packer.
Jennifer Judd.
Stephanie Nicole.
Brian Roberts.
Melissa Ames.
Sarah Law.
Amy Weston.
Jeremy Aragon.
Kirsten Sack.
Patrice Barlow.
Heidi Baldwin.
Tara Smith.
Kevin Shawstead.
Calvin Hall.
Crystal Jorgensen.
Andrea Hainer.
Michael Gallegos.
Joshua Lovelace.
Patricia Velasco.
Carol Greaves.
Ryan Luce.
Corey Morris.
Brendan Parker.
Dale Kirkland.
Michael Stephenson.
Richard Gold.
Sudhir Hunumanji.
Chad Kruger.
Joseph Plott.
Terrell Clark.
Jennifer Hunt.
Nathan Hansen.
Cassandra Cowley.
Holly Harding.
Reynold Gukaisen.
Allison Thompson.
Deborah Lines.
Tyler Lloyd.
Nicholas Richard Nielsen.
Jonas Webster.
Jeff Hawks.
Jed Atherley.
Richard Eddington.
Lanita J. Rodabaugh.
Doug Chandler.
Robert Bell.
Katie Wixom.
April Widmer.
Emily Ruckman.
Diane Mark.
Joseph Thomason.
David Miller.
Mark Richardson.
Jaron Newbold.
Leroy Page.
Leslie Ray Albertson.
Karen Jordan.
Taylor Nyan.
Cindy Nunn.
Stephen Bailing.
Chad Todd.
Eric Butera.
Adam Watson.
Stephanie Watson.
Jordan McDonald.
Angelique Nicole Carlson.
Leslie Ann Diamond.
Eric Bryant Haslam.
Heidi Cokerhans.
Stephanie Moore.
Joanna Hughes.
Zachary R. Milgram.
Zachary Andrew Roundy.
Michael Dapper Dan.
James Hooper.
Jeremy T. Johnson.
Amy Laverne Wasdorp.
Wendy Johnson.
Jennifer Duncan.
Annie Hamilton.
Shannon Fleischau.
Julie Densley.
Amy Sue Nielsen.
Pamela Kelly.
Matt Humphrey.
Tiffany Van Orden.
Jamie Riddle.
Leanne Tyndall.
Brianne Jones.
Heather Jackson.
Shad Clausing. Robert Biretz,
Carl Hunter,
Shikanori Wakahara,
Teresa Ramey,
Shannon Lynn Terrycall,
Heather Marie Muir,
Amy Skavarna Nielsen,
Monica Condi,
Nicholas Aguirre,
Todd T.B. Barnett,
Cindy Lee Savage,
Laura Lovell,
Natalie Fuller, Tonalisa Lopez,
Brittany Towers,
Krista Accenti,
Bryce Whitaker,
Melissa Hawkins,
Amanda Peterson,
Michelle Shute,
Ada Williams,
Michael Ferry,
Troy Mangum,
Wendy Ann McGear Hyam,
Rachel Barney,
Stephen Franson,
Luella Bates,
Matthew Bates,
Lisa Whalen,
Diana Draukin,
Stephanie Young,
Julie A. Nielsen,
Christina K. Shiner,
Shanna Anderson,
Jeremy Wall,
John Forsgren,
Courtney Ferry,
Brian Franz,
Carolee Bars,
Carrie Rowe,
Brian Rowe,
Ryan Nelson,
Audrey Harris,
Hi Talmadge Air,
Catherine Rowe,
Trisha Lynn Marie Aberton,
Lisa Marie DeFries,
Kimberly Hemingway,
Marianne Elaine Gill,
Mata Tukafa,
Ricky Rigby,
Silva Strizkova,
Heidi Ann Paulson,
Michelle Smith,
Tamu Johnson,
Derek Sundberg,
Sherilyn Bouchard,
Kathy Rasmussen,
Aaron Lee Wilson,
Asami Saito,
Katsumi Kataoka,
Kazu Fatumora,
Yuki Kobetsu,
Yuji Kenahira,
Martha Bolds,
John Scott Torson,
Wesley Jones,
David Webb,
Jacob Adams,
Lisa Fredrici,
Courtney Ruff,
Jennifer Young,
Melissa Stokes,
Kelly Coburn,
Jacob Smith,
Hitomi Kuroda,
Tomoko Tatamatsu,
Ellen Culver,
Greg Jensen,
Shannon Fulkerson,
Allison Marie Stevens,
Laura Davis,
Bethany Maines,
Dawn Draper,
Aubrey Bradford,
Quincy Lister,
Stephen Haddenham,
Ivana B. Hunt,
Sarah Dawn Atherton,
Mary Ann Creamer,
Maki Ikinosi,
Christina Gines Moore,
Vance Mortimer,
Tori Jaijo,
Rachel Johnson,
John Haggerty,
Rachel Kelly Anderson,
Michael Spar,
Allison Black,
Justin Hutchison,
Lawrence Frosland,
Jenna Jensen,
Chizun Kabayashi,
Saya Kim,
Bobby Smart,
Andrea Chan,
Anna Taylor,
Joni Lim,
Becky Cook,
Adam Chase,
Paul Jacobic,
Andrea Pearson,
Chandra Nuffer,
Nisha Stephenson,
Nubia Cecilia Stromsdorfer,
Misty Wells,
JC Walsh,
Heidi Harrison,
Garrett Johnson,
Karina Ward,
Kent Spenlove,
Helen Maddox,
Jeline Nystrom,
Adam Silver,
Vincent Lobato,
Jessica Rawson,
Marla Ward,
Jory Lindberg,
Melissa J. Canning,
Heidi Kuro,
Kimberly Butterfield,
Holly Weldon,
Heather Zaby,
Cindy Belliston,
Catherine Cates,
Marianne Kimmerl,
Tiffany Kimmerly,
Patrick Fenn,
Justin Lechiminant,
Laura Lyon,
Wendy Truillo,
Charles Saltkill,
Ryan Carroll,
Tiffany Jacobs Denur,
Jody Lynn Chase,
Clint Layton,
Kelly Hansen,
Aaron Leon Emrazian,
Amanda Ann Jacob,
Bliss Gillespie,
Amy Danes,
Kristen Fritz,
Marty Hardy,
Tamara Noon Wilson,
Carrie Barrett,
Debbie Jean Thompson,
Amber Lee Cow,
Jessica Lee Casto,
Melissa Lemon,
Robert Smith,
David Yancey,
Christine Doris Gallen,
Curtis Payne,
now the School of Continuing and Community Education.
Ronald Larson,
Chris Salis Jevry,
Jamie Bueller,
Derek Mears,
Andrea Smith,
Eric Chit Tim,
Joseph Robert Martinez,
Brent Malone,
Alexander Rook,
Brent Erickson,
Javier Gonzalez,
Dustin Heath,
Pauline Butcher,
Benjamin A. Baldock,
Rupert Jackson,
Mitchell Hooper,
Christina Underwood,
Reynolds Worthington,
Bonnie Barber Catton,
Ron D. Fry,
Cody Sandoval,
Laura Irene McCarthy,
Terry Scow,
Cindy Scarborough,
Chad David Coleman,
Matthew Cameron,
Chelo Robert Nzubu,
Abigail Mueller, School of Business and Industry,
William Barkley,
Jobob Knight,
Nathan Barrett,
Sean Oriat,
Torin Bender,
Elena Meadows,
Sarah Marchant,
Tony Millett,
Clifford Stebner,
Spencer Christensen,
Emmanuel Surer,
Wendy Martin,
Pablo Cando,
Amanda Grace Franson,
Carrie Radatz,
Ryan Monson,
Susie Williams,
Jared William Youngman,
Lawrence Williams,
Stephanie Zakowski,
Jana Hood,
Margaret North,
Carrie Miramet,
Kelly Mermet,
Jeannie Bullard,
Charles Hollister,
Kathleen McGregor,
Janet Josephson,
Gina Sudbury,
Carolyn Jarvis Crabtree,
Joshua Nickel,
Melanie Hill,
Shelley Kenny Tiggins,
Nancy Watkins,
Mark Perry,
Clark Calmer,
Corey Jacobs,
Amala Mehanovic,
Phuong Bui,
Ines Garcia,
Phuong Bell Tang,
Kamnoi Bong Bong Chi,
Masako Nomura,
Lisa Ashida,
Tenzin Chodar,
Chaiwi Lau,
Amy Michelson,
Deborah Silva,
Rita Lyman,
Michelle Lynn Cook,
Adriana Mackey,
Christine Abad,
Sally Murnett,
Denise Dyer,
Catherine Bernardo,
Elizabeth K. Tracy,
David McFarland,
Teresa Martino,
Takao Toge,
Atsushi Kato,
Michael Edelin,
Tom Cedarland,
Angel Mary Montoya,
Colleen Ardas Livingston,
Mohammed Elkhani,
Trisha McMillan,
Marcy Hansen,
David Mark Sagasser, School of Technology,
Paul Bredhoft,
Holly Nelson,
Lindsay Allred,
Christopher Lindsay,
David Sorensen,
Cami Timothy,
Allison Schaefer,
Jason Morton,
Todd Leonard,
Margaret M. Hawk,
Romy Nebeker,
Rocky Anderson,
Raymond Brown,
Jacqueline Moore,
Nicole Elder,
Julie Woodward,
Martin Kusok,
Jesse Beckstead,
Kelly Brady,
Bode Wild,
Kyle Muir,
Jesse Haupt,
Eric Gienstra,
Todd Riches,
Shane Trump,
Brent Ford Davis,
Zane E. Saunders,
Bill Doubt,
Christy Doubt,
Benjamin Davis,
Angela Eklund,
Kristen Bauman,
James Michael Toomer,
Bree Edwards,
Junko Fujiwaka,
Corey Williamson,
Brandon Harris,
Eric Jensen,
Richard Enriquez,
Heather Rigby,
Jaron Robertson,
Michael Brown,
Mark L. Borg,
Gilberto Garcia,
Carol Robison,
Conchi Dirkhak,
Kim Mai,
Benita Ong,
Jennifer Feldman,
Katie McBride,
Erica Yasuda,
Karen Green,
Armando Luyo,
Olive Michaels,
Kimberly Malin,
Jill McPhee,
Ying Hui Wu,
Christy Ann, Anna-
Lin Mook,
Anna Kathleen Anderson,
Barry Wright,
Jonathan Philip Coates,
Joseph White,
Adam Joseph Morrill,
Fetnakonski Bufa,
Monica Borchell,
Janet Wilson,
Lee Ling Te Tawa,
Tamara Randall,
Amy Mondragon,
Timothy R. Carr,
Lance Turnois,
James Bolter,
Jennifer Lynn Anderson,
Sarah Jane Yort,
Jessica Coates,
Ida Hinkhammer Stulek,
Jacqueline Hansey,
Annie Krisman,
Minda Lofthouse,
Katie Perry,
Lisa Steffens,
Jennifer Egley,
Stephen Walter Hernandez,
Georgie Sanchez,
Kevin Burns,
Jeffrey Poley,
Joshua David Wilson,
Kyle Platts,
Diane Armstrong Robinson,
Bonnie Muir Olson,
Rachel Ann Gonzalez,
Tavia Ott,
Teresa Drews,
Brad Latham,
Deborah Gerardo,
Nicole Parrish,
Mindy Bird,
Wendy Craig,
Randall Wangerin,
Todd Pittman,
Robert John Raleigh,
Tyrone Sinagini,
Sean Boyd,
Kareem Kutar,
Elizabeth Campbell,
Sherry Hogan,
Stephanie Dye. Okay. Registered nurses,
Roger Buyu,
Michelle Muchmore,
Marie Kimball,
Becky Stott,
Christy Scheel,
Mrs. Maurice J. Taylor, Suzanne,
Sandra Forston,
Andrea Kirk,
Kathleen Stoddard,
Jennifer Whitehead,
Diane L. Al-Assad,
Deborah Colford,
Angela Gilson,
Christy Smith,
Misty Carlson,
Kimberly Rollins,
Darby Brooks Shelley,
Charles Zollinger. Continuing with the School of Technology,
Jessica Loader,
Monique Nicole Lopez,
Robert Rollins,
Lisa Nagley,
Charlene Fredrickson,
Stephanie Kimber,
Melinda Stevens,
Shala Franson,
Emily Merkley,
Susan Hopper Doty,
Shalise Sanders,
Elisa Fletcher,
Christy Jacobs,
Min Nguyen,
The Trulong,
Sarah Ann Dancer,
Pamela Lefree,
Janet Johnson,
Matthew Bullard,
Warren Jolly,
James Tomlinson,
Clinton Lewis,
Jennifer White,
Jonelle Scott,
Ketra Au,
Tenji Jackman,
Jana Burt,
Carly Astill,
Kenzie Dorsey,
Melissa Trinio,
Heather Fumes,
Jennifer Nielsen,
Maria Olson,
Karen Schramm,
Corey Sennett,
Leif Anderson,
James Allen Coburnis,
James Gannett,
Wendy Hansen,
Nephi John Robinson,
Micah Kingston,
Skills Center, Cheryl Holgate,
Holly Lunt,
Robert Matthews,
Les Mountier,
Norma R. Hernandez,
Rudy Miera,
Ana Escobar,
Iwan Hu,
Sheila Buxton,
Viola Tavao,
Michelle Ann Fordyce,
Romy Koss,
Cami Lee McNeil,
Kristen Hernandez,
Antonio Alconero,
Heidi Joy Hepler,
Kathleen Thurman,
Stephanie Matza,
Ruth White,
Daniel Bell,
James Wilder,
Janet Hall,
Gloria Luby,
Sally Cummins,
Christina Demet,
Shayla Diane Lucas,
Corina Prieto,
Camille Loggins,
Karen Meyer,
Sherilyn Shaw,
Hip Nguyen,
Tanya Marie Bishop,
Deborah McCoy,
Zachary Scott Walton,
Charles Robert Fryer,
Lisa Renee Butler,
Stanley Chitek,
Gregory Brooks,
Brody Barney,
Derek Tuning,
Jeffrey Smith,
Barbie Peterson,
Gayleen Potter,
Melissa Janis,
Christy Jan Bench,
Rita Pratt,
Kim Hardcastle,
Carol S. Lowe,
Jenny Asset,
William Mayer,
and Jacob Packard.
Congratulations to you, the members of the graduating class of 2001, and to your families.